Now, you've heard of Marvel and DC, the Avengers and Superman, popular comic books and characters that are responsible for some of the highest grossing films in cinema history. But for years, Nigeria and Africa seemed left out, and what little Nigerian comic books there were received little to no attention internationally. Today, there are a wide range of Nigerian comic book creators telling stories of Nigerians to a global audience in comic book format. And my guest today, Ayodele Elegba, is taking things a step further, fashioning his comic book superheroes and stories into animations. And in addition to creating a Nigerian answer to the Marvel universe, Elegba has also worked to increase Nigeria's geek culture by founding Lagos Comic Con, reportedly the biggest geek event in Africa. And the comic artist and 2D animator Ayodele Elegba joins me from our studio in Lagos. Thank you, Elegba, for joining us. And I just want you to tell me about, first of all, your partnership with Disney for Iwaju. I've been told that that's not directly your own partnership, but there's this Lagos Comic Con that is affiliated with San Diego Comic Con International. In all of this, I just want you to put a perspective to it as to how this will change the animation environment in not just Nigeria, but Africa.
Thank you for having me on the show. First of all, I want to say already Lagos Comic Con is doing so much already to bridge the gap between the local content and international content. Lagos Comic Con began 10 years ago, and since then we've seen a growth in terms of the amount of networking that is going on between Nigerian creators and foreign creators. The owners of Iwaju, Kugali, they joined us at Lagos Comic Con some years ago, and with just few comic books, and since then they've grown to become one of the largest comic book producers here in Africa. So yeah, one thing I believe is that having an ecosystem where you have creators together, we can have a voice and we can speak as one voice, and the world can hear us. And yes, the world is hearing us because we've been having lots of interviews just because of the small things that we are doing from here in Lagos, Nigeria, to the rest of the world.
And now let's talk about how you're grooming younger comic creators, animators in your studios, and how you think the next decade would actually be for this industry of yours.
Yeah, one of the things I found out when I started Lagos Comic Con was we didn't have enough creators, and there was this content gap. We didn't have enough people actually making comic books that met the international standard. So one of the things I decided to do was to also set up my own business to train and to also show people what that standard should look like. Because one of the challenges that we have is that when those foreign bigwigs want to give us, a commission or want to sign us up for something, they want to measure us with what's happening out there. And we've been able to do that with Spoof Comics and Animation, which is an indigenous comic and animation studio that trains. We have an academy that trains and also produces content. We have our own IP that we're hoping to shop to networks to have like feature films and series, in major networks out there.
And one would want to wonder how you were able to get into this industry, considering that, you are actually a medical personnel before, and you getting into this industry just seems so strange. Can you just take us through that journey of yours?
I think one of the things that you need to survive in these creative spaces, you need to have what is called talent. I think being born to an artist father, I started drawing at a very young age, but because of the educational system in this country, we sometimes lose our way. I was very brilliant, in secondary school, and people thought, oh, you need to go into sciences. So that's what I did. But after finishing my school and was serving my NYSC, I realized that there was more in me, and I needed to express that more. So I gave up everything and went for it. It was not easy, trying to convince family that you could actually make money and make a living from just drawing and making animation. So I'm glad I've been able to do that, and I've been able to show the world that animation is actually something that is growing. Comic books is everywhere now, from the Black Panther to Marvel to Doctor Strange, even to the amazing Spider-Man that just came out. You could see that they're money-spinning industry, and IP is the future. So in the next 5 years, we're going to be seeing a lot of African IP spinning into superhero, Afrofuturism, and even African heritage content. And I think that's what we're going to be seeing. We're going to be seeing more networks outside coming into Nigeria to locally source for stories, that they've never seen before. I think there's a whole lot of stories that we are yet to tell here in Nigeria especially. And I think, a lot of people want to hear our voice, want to hear our stories. And I think that's what's going to happen in the next 5 years. More people are going to be trained, more quality. We're going to be seeing more Nigerians working in diaspora, either remotely or traveling there to work there within Disney's and Marvels of this world.
And looking at your animation here, it looks so fabulous. I mean, it's just like what's obtainable in the US and anywhere else. You're actually working with Netflix, and I've also been told even you have some plans to actually work not just with Netflix alone, but with Arise Play. Just take me through how you intend to build on these partnerships to launch into 2022.
Oh, we are excited about what 2022 is all about. In fact, I can't say much, but there's a whole lot of stuff going on, especially even with Arise Play. We're working on some very interesting stuff, and also some other broadcasters out there. It's exciting because now we have been noticed, and people can actually see that Nigerians can actually produce content that meets any international studio out there. And that gladdens me because for me, I'm a patriot. I was listening to your interview earlier, and I realized that, Nigeria needs more patriots, people who can actually say, look, we're going to do this in Nigeria, we're going to do it great. We're not mediocre, we're excellence of spirit, and we're going to do it. And that excellence is starting to attract more partners, more investors towards Nigeria and towards spoof comics and animation as a whole. So I'm excited. 2022 is awesome. I'm really excited for what is going to happen this year.
I want you to take us through the economics of the animation industry in Nigeria. How lucrative is it? Why should people actually think that this is the next big thing?
Oh, well, the animation industry, it's a huge industry, especially because many people don't know, but animation is broken into several departments. There's a 2D animation, there's a 3D animation, and it's also very used in gaming and also in VFX, which you see in all these movies that you have. So it's a big multi-billion-dollar industry that we are yet to even scratch the surface at all. You could use animation in education, you can use it in entertainment, in science, you can use it everywhere. So I really want to encourage even government to look at it as a money spinner, because even Nollywood now is beginning to realize that with VFX and 3D animation, you could actually have some very cool effects, in your movies as well. So the kids need local content. We need to tell our African stories to our young ones, let them speak their local language and watch animation in their local language. These are the things that we can explore. It's a very, very huge industry. And I think we're getting to understand what exactly it is, and we are all beginning to tap into it. That's those of us in the creative space.
Very interesting indeed. Do you intend to create animations where you'll be using local languages? I'm very interested in knowing that.
Yes. We have one. We just concluded it in partnership with some French partners, a French broadcaster. It's very hilarious. It's a mixture of Yoruba language, the Pidgin, and all the local Igbo, because it's a mixture of all. So we are hoping to explore more, to dive more into that, especially more deep indigenous languages that people are not even very common with. Of course, there's also the issue of is the market out there, and are broadcasters willing to also show this? Because as animators, we want to also create things that the people also want to see.
And we would also want to find out if indeed you're getting lots of attention from the film industry, like Nollywood. How much of interest do they have in animation?
I think they are still catching on. I was speaking with one of the big cinema houses, and they were like, Ayo, like cinema is not really ready yet for for animation on the big screen. So I think it's a little bit slow, especially that Nollywood is also still battling with their issue of comedy, that comedy saga. Everybody wants to make a comedy movie. So it's very difficult for producers to look towards animation now, because they feel they might not be able to make enough money, at the cinemas. But I really, really doubt it. I think one of the fears that people have is they wonder if Nigerians can actually do the animation, the quality that many Nigerians are used to watching on the big screen. And we've been able to prove it that with 2D animation, we can actually do that. And we're hoping that we'll go back to them this year and maybe talk again and see what's possible this year.
Ayodele Elegba, comic creator, we must thank you for joining us on the Arise interview to shed more experiences on what's been going on within that industry. Well, that's how it's been for this edition of the Arise interview. Do join us again tomorrow. From me and the entire team here in Abuja, goodbye and thank you for watching. I'm Somna Sambo.